In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Derminator 2. It's an advanced microneedling device that you can use for anti-aging, scars, stretch marks, and hair regrowth. I have owned this and have been using it for the last several months. I'll go over my results, my routine, and some tips and tricks. What do I think of it? Let's find out. Okay, so first a little bit of an overview as to what is the Derminator 2. So the Derminator 2 is essentially a digital microneedling device. It's very much like a derma roller. So if you're familiar with derma roller is basically this cheap little device that you can get. It has this little needles on it. It has like a little wheel. Okay, so this is what a typical derma roller looks like. So it has these little needles. So the problem with the derma rollers is that, number one, the pressure, the depth is not as consistent. You basically have to use your own strength to get it at the right depth. Number two is as you're rolling it, it's actually going to be, let's say you're using it for hair regrowth, it's going to be pulling out some of the hairs that you have there, which can give you a temporary like balding look in that area that you're using it, which is not what you want, right? We're supposed with a dermapen, like it goes in straight and goes in faster at the correct depth every time. Additionally, with the derma roller, when you're doing it, it can create larger perforations because of the rolling motion. So a derma roller can actually cause a skin tearing, like tearing of the skin as you're using it. So it's a reason why it's so cheap. It's just very like crude, I would say, and it's not something like using a regular derma roller. It's not something that I would recommend in general. I was looking into this, and Derek from More Dates actually recommended this device called the Derminator 2. There's some other ones out there that are similar, but I like Derek, so I kind of trusted his judgment, and I went ahead and bought one. My goals was to use it for hair regrowth, to regrow my temples. I'll go over some results right now, and maybe for some of the wrinkles that I have here. So particularly like the forehead wrinkles. That's really the only wrinkles that I really have right now. I have like some scars here as well that would be interesting, but not a big deal. So mainly for hair regrowth and the wrinkles. That's something that I wanted to use it for. However, you can actually use this for a lot of different uses. So for example, you have like acne scars or enlarged pores, wrinkles. Here they have a whole list here, like stretch marks, surgical scars, even burn scars, different types of pigmentations, right? So it's very, very useful. And so it was very, very interesting. And I think a lot of girls use this. They go to like microneedling centers and they use it on their to get like a rejuvenated look. And so there's a lot of evidence. There's even some studies that's there's not a lot of studies for hair regrowth where it's just the microneedling device, but there are some studies that if you combine it with minoxidil, you can actually double the results of just using minoxidil alone. So I just started using minoxidil when I bought this device, so I started using them at the same time. This was about 3 months ago now. When I started the YouTube channel is when I started using it. So it's a little bit as to what is the Derminator 2. So a little bit more to go into in depth as to why I got it. So my temples were receding. You can still see some of the recession. It's a lot better now. But yeah, they were receding, and I was considering even getting a hair transplant for the receding hairline. But I looked into it, and it was gonna be like 20 grand here in the States, and I definitely didn't want to travel. Right, I didn't want to travel. And I had been taking finasteride. Kind of on and off. Like I did it for a year straight, then I took a year off, and then that's where I lost some of the ground. And then I started again, so I've been on it about another year or so. So I think I basically maximized all of my finasteride gains. So it stabilized the hairline, which is good. It stabilized the hair loss, which is great. But I wanted to regain like the lost ground that I had with the temples, right? And so that's why really why I got it, because I didn't want to buy. I didn't want to get a hair transplant. It was really expensive, and so I was looking into other methods. I did a bunch of research, and I found out that by using a derma roller or using microneedling, you can actually double the effects of minoxidil. I did a bunch of research on minoxidil before I started it, and deemed it to be pretty safe. I also take like daily Cialis, so I was a little bit worried because of the blood pressure. But I bought like a pressure gauge and my blood pressure gauge, and it's been fine so far, so good. So I'll go into my routine a little bit. That way I can sort of explain the demonstration and do like a little demonstration and an unboxing and sort of put it in the context of how I use it. So I use the Derminator once a week I do it like every Saturday, because I tend not to go out like for like Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I usually don't really go out, and the reason for this is because it leaves your skin red and a little bit inflamed, and so you can kind of notice it. So I don't really want people like, to see me being all like all red and stuff. So I use it. It takes me about an hour. I take my time with it when I use it. So essentially, what I do is first I will take a shower. I'll make sure I'll wash my hair real good. Wash my face real good. I use Geology, so they have like this face wash that I use here. I'll do like a different review on that later. So I do the face wash. I'll wash my hair, and then and then I'll dry it out or whatever. After that, I use this hyaluronic acid serum here. I'm gonna link to it so you can see. This one was about, I think, like $40. So, but it's lasted me a good while. And so I'll put some of this in my hands, rub it, and then put it on my face. I put it like on my hairline where I'm gonna apply it, right? I don't do the crown. I'm just too lazy to do the crown. The crown is actually not that big, not that bad, so I don't really bother with it. So yeah, I use the hyaluronic acid, which I use as a gliding gel, so it kind of helps the microneedling device kind of move around in my skin. And of course, I actually, I want the hyaluronic acid to penetrate the skin to hydrate and hydrate the skin, the deeper layers of the skin essentially. So from there, I'll microneedle. I'll do my hairline. I'll start with the parts that I care about the most, which is this hairline, this one right here. So I'll do all this. I'll hairline all this, and you can actually see some regrowth already, right? And it's only been about 3 months. So I'll do all this here. I'll do all this here. Then I'll do all this here, right? This side is actually not as bad as this side. This side is really the worst one. And so I'll do all this area. And what you want to do is cause like pinpoint bleeding. And so I'll set the depth to 1 millimeter for the hairline. And they have the makers of the Derminator actually have a routine as to and they have like a recommended depth guide for the different conditions. So but I've kind of honed in on this. Like, this is just my own personal preference. Go ahead and consult their guidelines to make sure that they're using the correct one. This is what I use and what I found that works for me so far. So I use the 1 millimeter here on the hairline. I'll do this until it's nice and red. It's a little painful, I'm not gonna lie. It's somewhat uncomfortable, but no pain, no gain, just like everything else, right, in life. And yeah, so I'll do that until it's really red. I'll do this, and then I'll switch it over to the 0.50 millimeter, so about half the length of the original one. I'll go to 0.50, and I'll do the wrinkles here. So I'll do like 0.50. I'll do the wrinkles here, and then I'll do here like this folds here. I'll do like in between here, and I'll do the beard area, especially I concentrate on the parts where it doesn't really grow. Now, I don't really grow my beard that much. So I haven't actually seen the results. So I'm in no rush. Like, I'm gonna, keep doing it, and then maybe like in a few months I'll let it grow and see what it looks like. But I've definitely seen some good results in the hairline so far. As for the wrinkles, I see some results as well. Especially I see some of the more dramatic results a few days after I do it. The wrinkles sort of come back. So I'm gonna just keep doing it, keep playing with the depth. See, I may have to go a little bit deeper for this wrinkles. And I'll go over my technique in a little bit. Now, a couple notes I wanted to add about my routine is, number one, what do I do after I finish microneedling? So for the hair, let's say it's going to be all inflamed, it's going to be a little reddish. I like to put on some castor oil right here. I'll leave the link to that below. But yeah, so I'll leave that on. I'll put it on my hands and put it on pretty heavily. It'll make my hair super greasy, but I'll leave it on overnight, and then the next morning I'll wash my hair. I'll wash it off. And then for the face, I use this Geology. So what it is, this is it's a hyaluronic acid. It's their night cream. So this contains retinol, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid. Feels pretty good. I put it on, feels pretty good. And of course I want all of that to get absorbed, right? That's what I put it on. And then for the microneedling technique that I use, so for the hairline, I use a circular motion. So I do I use the needle, I use the circular motion like that all over here, blah, blah, blah. For the wrinkles, I'll kind of just go straight. So I'll go Now the manual says not to go back and forth, so I just go, I'll go one direction, I'll lift it, I'll put it back, I'll go one direction again. Same for the other side. And I'll do kind of a little bit like tic-tac-toe, like a crisscross here as well. And then for the bearded areas, so for here, for the nasal folds, I'll just go up like same, up, put down like this, go down. Same from here. So it's mostly like it's not up and down. It's I go down, I lift it, and then I go down again. For the beard areas, it's it's a crisscross. So I'll go down, I'll go down, I'll go down, and then I'll go crisscross like that. And again, make sure you're not going back and forth. You're just doing it in one direction only. And that's what the manual says. All right, so let's go ahead and unbox this bad boy. I mean, it's not a brand new unboxing. I got this. So it took me about 3 weeks to receive it. So it took a little while, and as the reason is it's in Europe. So I had to wait like 3 weeks. Now this is the box that it came in. Yeah, I just keep it in this box, stored away until I use it. Okay, so here we have one of the needles. So this is the one that I'm using. So I get the 12 needle cartridges here. I got some extra ones, just right off the bat. I don't recommend using the single needle ones. That's just too much work. But yeah, I got some extra ones. I have like another one, a couple of 12 ones here. There's one here, right? They also threw in a 9 for some reason, but I don't use that. There also comes some other plugs here. They look like ear plugs, but I don't use this. I frankly don't know what it's for. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going. So this is the actual device. So here you can see what it comes with. And that's basically it. There's nothing else here. The manual, you have to basically access it online, which is fine. So we have the main body, which is here. You have the electrical cord. This is about like 3-4 feet. Then you have this the actual needle part, the needling part. The cord is about also 3 or 4 feet. So there's plenty of room. So you have this cap here. So what I like to do before I microneedle is I get a little cup and I fill it up with rubbing alcohol, and I dip the needle that I'm going to be using in it. If it's a brand new needle, I mean, they're already sterilized. You really shouldn't need to do that. But yeah, I put this one is used, for example. I'll use them about 3 or 4 times at the most before I bust out with a new one. And then so I sterilize it before I use it and after I use it. Okay, so this is the cartridge that I use here. So let me go ahead and plug it in. Okay, so I went ahead and plugged it in. Before I turn it on, I like to put in the cartridge. So there's this little cap. You can just take this off, lefty loosey, righty tighty. You take that off, right? And when you put this, make sure that this part here is what goes in. So this long part. I made the mistake the first time. I didn't know what I was doing, and I put this first, and I kind of ruined our cartridge, unfortunately. But yeah, so make sure that you put this part in first, like this, okay? And you're gonna twist it to the right, and it locks into place. It should be nice and locked into place. And now you've installed the cartridge. Next, you can turn it on. So there's a switch. The switch is here on the power cord. Just turn that on, and you saw there that it comes on. Okay, so next, it's gonna ask you some questions. Make sure you answer these correctly. So single needle, you're gonna say no. So you can hit this one for no. It's a 9 needle, again, no. So I'm gonna say no. Is it 12 needles? Yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit yes. Then it has all this other stuff, like if you want to set a timer, and like it's more complicated. I just completely skip all of this and go to the next part. Yeah, so in order to go to the next part and skip this, I always forget. I always press the wrong button. But instead of hitting OK, you're just gonna hit this one that says speed. This is gonna go to the next screen. So this is the main screen. This is basically where you use it. And it's so simple. You just have these 2 buttons here. So one is for the depth, and one is for the speed. Okay, if you're new, I would recommend you start off like at slow or medium, but I just go to fast. It's just the most effective. I really don't like the slow or medium. It's way too slow. And then once you hit the depth, this thing is gonna start going. Okay, so you can hit start depth, and there you can hear it. You can go, so that's 0.50 millimeters, right? And you can go all the way 1. You can go all the way up to 2.50 millimeters, which is I don't go anywhere near that. So as I mentioned, I only use 0.5 for the face and the beard, the forehead, and 1.0 for the hairline. And once it starts going, you can't even see it. Like this thing goes so fast, you can't even see it with the naked eye. You can't even see it. But it is going to be going. Okay, so what are my thoughts on it? I absolutely love it. It's one of the best investments that I've made. This is not a sponsored video. I don't even have affiliate links for this. I just absolutely love this device. I use it every week. It's part of my routine. Yeah, doing micro needling is a little bit painful. But you know, you gotta put up with it. Like if you want results, you gotta go through a little bit of pain in life to get what you want, right? And I absolutely do think that it's working. Yeah, so my hairline is definitely coming back. I see at first what was happening. So as I mentioned, I also use minoxidil. Now I don't put on minoxidil. I'll use it like before, like a few hours before, but I won't. Then after a microneedle, I won't use the minoxidil for like a few hours, for like at least 12 hours. I do try to use it somewhat soon afterwards though, because I do want the absorption basically to get, for the minoxidil to get absorbed as deeper as I can into the skin, right? And at this point, I'm only really using minoxidil once a day. I'm just too busy, right? So I'll put on minoxidil like once a day. I'll rub it in. I use both the foam. I'll have a different video as to my routine and all of that. But yeah, my results have been really good. I really think that the microneedling has definitely helped to get better results. Now the caveat is I started both minoxidil and the microneedling at the same time, so I never did just minoxidil. So I didn't have a good control test there, but it's absolutely amazing. Like it's something I wouldn't get rid of this baby for nothing. So you know, I get some compliments from other people. I'm like, oh, your hair is so good. And especially when I do like streams online and like people was like, oh, you have such good hair. I'm like, bro, it was balding. Like it wasn't, you should have seen it before. And if you see my post-finasteride syndrome video, which I'll link over here. I don't have PFS. Like it's just, I think that's like super rare. I'm not even sure if I even truly believe in it. I think it's just something you could probably fix anyway. It's that it's fixable. But yeah, you see some pictures there and my hair was just absolutely a mess. It was balding. It was bad. And so I have now better hair than I did even in like my late 20s, early 30s. I'm 36 now. And yeah, my hair is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Like I'm letting it grow now. I think the hairline's only gonna keep getting better. And the process was, first you're gonna see this what they call vellus hairs, just like baby hairs. And so I started to see them pop up at first, and eventually they fall off, and then like actual full thick full size hairs come out, and that's the process that I'm actually seeing now. And even though these are not fully grown, it's not fully there, they're already making it appear as if I have a good hairline, right? Like it doesn't look too bad. Like only if I like pull it back, it's kind of noticeable, but not really. And this was like the worst side. Like if I do this, now I can actually like slick back my hair, and it actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty good when I do that. So you know, right now I have the crazy Latino Einstein hairstyle right now, but I need a haircut. But yeah, that was my review of the Derminator 2. I think if you can afford it, absolutely get it. Get some extra cartridges. It's only $200. I know in this economy that can be a lot, but you know, I felt that it was a good enough investment, especially like instead of doing you know, getting like a hair transplant or something like that, like, or just letting it grow and like being all like you don't have confidence in yourself. Like I think it's absolutely worth it. And keep an eye on video. Like I want to keep talking more about my own hair growth journey. I'm gonna make a video as to what I did to like really regrow, like my routine, what I take, supplements, and so on. It's a whole thing that I do. So make sure you support me. Make sure that you comment. More importantly, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, and keep an eye out for those more hair related videos that I'm gonna do. And I'll see you next time. Peace.